Hi everyone. So I always, when I turn on the camera, I have this like retarded look on my face as I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing and if I can do what I want to do, which I usually can. Um, I wanted to make a review for a tarot deck because had, when I was living in India, I had seen that there was this tarot deck which was supposed to be very rare called the Siamese tarot, and I thought it looked really interesting. I liked the way the paintings looked sort of like antiquated Tonka paintings. Tonka paintings are a kind of fabric or almost like papyrus painting that is done in Tibetan Buddhism quite a lot, and this is sort of in that style a little bit, but I think these are more based on murals. Anyway, I had always thought that the deck was too rare to get, and I couldn't find it on Amazon or anything. I'm probably gonna, now that I managed to score a copy of them, I'm probably gonna find out that they're available mass market production on Amazon, and I'm not special. Anyway, so I thought I would review the cards. Someone else has done a YouTube review of these cards, especially in comparison with a Balinese deck. But I didn't totally agree with the review that I saw. For one thing, she had, the lady that reviewed them, I'm sorry, I cannot remember who it was. She had kind of stressed a lot that it was based on the Rider-Waite tarot deck, which, and funnily enough, I was looking, the first thing I did was I laid out a reading for myself, because the first thing I do when I get a new tarot deck is I like to look at the cards without looking at the book and try to interpret them, because I find that's the best way to learn a new set of symbols, is just plunge in. And if you read too much, you tend to unconsciously always rely on those divinatory meanings that you read first, because they end up being your first impression, which can kind of jock block the intuition. So I have them laid out in front of me, and instead of, I cannot figure out how to swivel on the camera, like just, supposedly it's possible. There might be some options here if I touch the screen, but I don't know what you're supposed to do. Anyway, so then I looked in the little insert notebook to see if they had written anything about the inspiration for the deck, and all it says in its own divinatory notebook, all it says is that it's based on the Rider-Waite, which I think is really selling it short. Like, I don't think it is based that much on the Rider-Waite. I mean, they were basically marketing it as a clone deck in Thai costume, which I think is a gross oversimplification of what it is. And I don't think I can show you the whole deck, because it would be a really long video, and I've just bought it today, so I don't necessarily know all the symbols in it. But the first thing that I noticed when I laid out the cards, very spookily, if you've seen my other videos, is that my significator, my traditional significator, which is the Page of Cups, popped up in my reading. And it is very interesting because I don't know if this is focusing. I'm sorry, there's a glare. I don't know if you can see, but for one thing, his posture is not that of the Page of Cups from the Rider-Waite. Second of all, what is normally a fish in the cup in the Rider-Waite deck here appears to be a sperm whale, which symbolically could not be further removed from a fish. And he is wearing a garland. I don't know if you guys watch all my videos or if you remember my Songkran shirt that I wore, but those flowers are the ones that were described to me by my teacher as bad luck flowers that you would never wear into a temple. And that is also the shirt that my Thai friend had recommended that I buy for Songkran. And so I just thought it was very interesting. And my teacher could not remember the name of the flower. She was kind of racking her brain when I asked her, and she couldn't remember. But that was kind of interesting that popped up first. Anyway, just to give you some more examples of some different cards. I'm going to be shaking a little bit because I'm going to move over just so that I can hold up some cards, because I laid them out on the bed and then they're actually a little bit far away for where I have the camera. Okay, so here is the Chariot, which, I mean, this is not traditional Arthur Waite either. This is a very Thai chariot, and with oxen pulling it. And I mean, even just like the whole design of it being very much 3/4 face, 3/4 angle, I think is very interesting. And I'm sure that I'm going to have some inspiration about what that means, but I don't at the moment. And there's one card which is just unbelievably stunning. And now I'm going to be like groping around for it while I'm shooting the video. Oh, here it is. The World. Yeah, like not even remotely like the Waite deck. I mean, Waite shows a woman who's a hermaphrodite dancing in a wreath with the eagle and those traditional symbols of the eagle, the lion, the bull, and the man or angel. Here we have a heavenly, I think it's like an apsara, which is like a heavenly nymph, dancing the whole entire globe. And so this is like very post, well, I've forgotten the name of him. Who was the guy that discovered that Earth was round? Oh crap, my brain. Okay, anyway, it's based on like post after this discovery of the round, that the planet is round. And we have these winged chariots in the sky, which are a traditional symbol from Hinduism, actually, which some New Age, I don't know what you'd call them, researchers speculate that there was space travel in Vedic times or something like that, which is a sort of fanciful notion, but it's kind of cute that they included that. And I think I should show you one more card. Yes, Seven of Cups, because I've shown you a lot of majors, and it's the minors that they always say are based on Rider-Waite. And sorry, I'm just trying to avoid the glare. I don't know what's going on in this, like hands and intestines and a head in 3 cups, and some upside down blossoms. I don't know. I'm gonna have to really meditate on them, but I find this fascinating, and I'm actually very pleased because when I had read that they were based on the Rider-Waite, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Rider-Waite or Crowley, and I'm gonna warn you right now, I'm extremely, extremely opinionated about tarot. Largely because it was kind of the first thing that I decided that I wanted to educate myself about when I was 4 years old. I learned to read tarot cards before I learned my letters, which would probably horrify a lot of people. But I had seen that my mother had a deck of them, and I could not stop obsessing about them until she gave them to me. And I felt like I knew what they were. Honestly, I don't think that tarot is, from a spiritual perspective, terribly useful. I think that predicting the future is kind of pointless. Like, if it's good, then you've got nothing to worry about. And if it's not good, then worrying about it isn't going to help. I think you may as well just think positive and proceed as normal. I don't think you need to look for hurdles. The only time that I've found the tarot useful is if I need advice about a particular problem, and then I just ask it, like, what do I do about this? And then sometimes it can give me an insight about that. Yeah, but as to the tarot systems, I'm not a fan of either Aleister Crowley or Arthur Waite. I think that Aleister Crowley, for his part, based his system far too much on trying to syncretize and conglomerate tarot with astrology, I Ching, and Kabbalism. Whereas I feel that Arthur Waite, I just felt that the images made by, is it Coleman Smith? Pamela Coleman Smith, are not terribly mystical looking. They don't speak to me. I don't find them evocative. I learned on the Aquarian tarot. That was the tarot that drew me. That was the tarot that when I saw it, I felt like I knew something other than whatever I was living on a daily, mundane level. And after that, I discovered the tarot of the cat people. And I think that the tarot of the cat people in particular is regarded as a fetish tarot deck and not terribly serious. And I disagree. I think that it has a lot of amazing tribal symbolism. I don't think it's just about cats at all. I think that the cats are kind of incidental in the deck, actually. I mean, every card has a cat in it, but the symbolism is, I think, slightly revolutionary, in fact, for tarot decks. And then later, many years later, I discovered the Londa Tarot and the Deviant Moon decks, which are sort of more, I would say, based on Tarot of the Cat People, which I think is its own thing, because there was a lot of positive imagery that you would not necessarily find, especially in the sword cards. I think that Crowley and Waite definitely regarded the swords as mostly negative, and I feel like Karen Kuykendall, the author and illustrator of the Tarot of the Cat People, really made a big change and an effort to make those cards more positive. And the other thing that, actually this is a review, so I'm not going to go into all my tarot topics and all my bugaboos about tarot. But basically, I think it's ridiculous to say that they're like Arthur Waite, especially if you look at them. I mean, if you're a serious tarot reader and you see the details, like there is no curtain in the King of Cups in Pamela Coleman Smith's deck, Arthur Waite's deck. And there's no fountain pouring into the cup. These things are significant. They're not decorative. Like, nothing in tarot is decorative. Everything, the colors, the way they're facing, it's all significant for how you would interpret the reading. And basically, nothing is insignificant in symbolism or iconography or anything like that. So basically, my opinion about tarot is that it shouldn't be treated lazily, especially the imagery. And yes, I seem to have two ways of communicating. I can either be really opinionated or I forget what I'm saying. So I'm going to leave it there. Oh, but just to show you this incredibly beautiful card. Oh wow. That depiction of the star, I think, is really, really gorgeous. Just so you can see it. And it is, this one actually is kind of like the Rider-Waite. Anyway, I'm leaving this there and I'm going to upload this, and I will review my other tarot deck, which I brought all the way from India, and I will explain why it was the one that I chose to bring out of 20 tarot decks that I owned in that video. Bye for now.